What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Blue here, and I'm back with a video on trading the Micro E-mini futures. I know I've been gone for a while, but it was due to a lot of different things, which you all know what's going on in the world with the coronavirus. I took a step back and I decided now would be a good time for me to come back while I'm learning how to trade the E-mini futures and learning my setup. You all can follow me on my journey. And every week I will post all of my trades on YouTube, and I'll let you all know what I'm doing and how I've grown as a trader. So without further ado, let's get into this video. I'm back with my daily recaps. I'll switch from the stock options to going to futures and sometimes trading a little SPY or ES. But I'm just coming with a Monday recap, August the 10th. So today I took 3 trades. I am sim trading, and I'm going to sim trade for the rest of this year. And I can explain that in a different video if you like. But I am sim trading for the moment until next year. And then I'm going to switch over to cash again. But today I took 3 trades. It's a little late, so it's been a lot of other stuff going on today outside of when I was trading. This line here, I draw my lines from SPY. I go to SPY on the daily, and I'll draw in my gap fills. So I had a gap fill right here on the SPY, and I transfer it over to the ES or micro E-minis, and I trade off of it. So I use the SPY as like a secondary to look at. So I got a couple different setups I trade off of gap fills and gap rejections, and I got my own 15 and 5-minute setups that I take trades off of. So today, I got it on the wrong chart anyway, but I took a trade when it hit the gap fill, but it kept going. I ended up taking it off before this candle completely formed. I believe I was looking at the 5-minute and I took it off. Let me see. Yeah, I took it off probably. Yeah, it was right after this closed. Once I knew it closed up under here, because if you don't know about the micros, I only took one contract. I tend to like scale in, but it didn't give me a chance to scale in. It completely just broke. It wasn't stalling. And once it got down here and it closed this whole 5-minute candle up under here, I decided I was going to take it off for the loss. It was only like $25. So I waited for another setup, which I never got it in here because the way I trade the way I trade my setup, I never got an entry. But later on, around 11:30, started getting up here. I took it a little earlier. I got in 50 cents before it actually hit this. This is the gap fill line, and I was looking for it to reject off of the gap fill and roll back over. But as you see, it broke through. But I had a stop point for another 5 points, which is $25 with the micro E-minis, because every tick is $1.25 and 4 ticks, and every point makes it $5. So I stopped out actually, and I believe it was this candle for another $25. I waited for later on, and I took I waited for the pullback to some support right here. And once this candle pulled back to it, I ended up taking it long. After it closed here, I took it long off of the support right here, put in my stop up under. Well, this was resistance. I was looking for it to turn into support. And I put in my stop under this support for all of this consolidation. And as you see, it got under it, and it actually got barely under it. I still would have stopped out later on in the day. So I stopped out. So that's 3 red trades. They were small, $83, 3 trades. That's how my trades went for today, Tuesday, to August the 10th. And I'll see you all in the next one. It is August the 11th, Tuesday. And I took 2 trades today, both of them on the micro E-minis. And let me show you what I was looking at. I started off, I went over my top down analysis with ES, MES, SPX, and SPY, and I marked up gaps and important level, resistance level up here as far as the E-minis, because it's the all-time highs. But I was looking at SPY, and I marked up a gap fill from back here from when the market crashed. So I marked that up, the gap to fill for today, and took a trade based off of that. On the daily, so on the SPY, it actually came down and touched. I marked it up on the MES, the micro E-minis, and I was looking at it in here because it was hovering around it during the pre-market of like SPY and everything else. So when it opened and it pushed, well, it dumped out and then pushed back up and rejected, and then a new candle came and it pushed. And when it came back under, I took a trade off the resistance of this gap. Now I was looking for it to fill from here to here, which it did actually fill the gap, and it reversed back. But I took my trade. I only took one contract. This is paper trade, and if you didn't know, I'm not starting live trading till the beginning of next year, but I'm doing paper trade and with a couple different setups. I took the trade off of this big red candle off the up in here, and I put in a sell order, but it was like 10 points down. It reached down. I was actually getting something out the bathroom, and it just all of a sudden hit my order and bounced off of this gap fill and reclaimed. I wasn't able to grab the reverse side of it off of the gap fill because I would have took it, the fill come back up. But anyways, I missed it. So I was right on the first trade. So then my second trade, I took it off the 5-minute chart. And I was looking at it it was around here. It was in this candle. Because I remember we had this little consolidation area, and when it broke out of it, I waited for the pullback to these highs, these two high candles, and I entered the trade. And I put in a stop. My stop was just if it closed below it. I didn't want to give it too much to give too much back or anything. So when it pulled below it and it closed, I took the trade off, which I actually, if I would have stayed in, I was actually right about the trade. And now that I'm looking at it, there was a few different trades that I could have took if I would have been looking at the computer. I was actually working out and everything, so I didn't get to take any more trades and had some other stuff to do. So I looked from right here at more of a double top. If you wanted to take the double top up here, you just got to maybe take it a little earlier, a point or two early for the double top on the day, which you would have worked out as long as you would have pulled some kind of profits. This is all hindsight. And then looking at it now, you actually could have took it on a break of the trend for the day, but starting down here, you could have looked for the trend break and took it through here. If not, waited for the pullback and shorted it. That's another one. I didn't take it, but just some hindsight. But anyways, that was my trade for today. And we'll see what we can get tomorrow, even though I'll probably be a little bit late entering. But hopefully I get one of my setups to be able to get a trade off tomorrow, trade or two. Oh, and I gave back a little bit. I only made 41 bucks. It was only one contract, but I gave back a little bit on that second trade when I stopped out. But can't win them all. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day, people. So today is August 12th, 2020. It's a Wednesday. I took one trade today. I did my analysis from SPY and MES and SPX. The micro E-minis. I did trade the micro E-minis future today. This is paper trade, and I put out actually a couple of orders to try to get fills on earlier, but they didn't fill. And the one I did get filled on was kind of a chaser, but it was more controlled because I knew I was going to let it move a little less before I took it off. And I also added a contract so that I can scale out instead of just having it one in and one out. But anyways, I took a trade on this candle right here. I was looking for the pullback, and it actually pulled back to my order, but it didn't fill. So that I'm not gonna chase, so I just let it go and waited for the next setup that I wanted. So that one was off the 5 minute chart. My second trade that I tried to take was off the 5 minute chart, and I tried to enter my second trade. I tried to enter at 33.66, and the third one was 33.68, which I didn't get the pullback. The 33.66 I was looking for off of, actually it was off of this candle. I was looking for it to pull back to 33.66 so that I can enter, but I didn't get the pullback. When it broke out, I waited for the pullback off the 15 minute to 33.68 to around the top of this candle, but this candle never pulled back to it, so I didn't get the entry that I wanted. So then I always have two charts up the trade off of, so I was looking at the 5 and the 15 minute, and I was looking for the next setup for me to be able to take, which was on this candle, and I actually got the entry, which is funny because I got the entry and had to hold through all of this choppiness where it went, well, not choppiness, where the market just went sideways on me. And I ended up taking one of my contracts off for a small loss just to scale down since it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do immediately. So then, and these were shorts. This one was actually a short, the third one. So I was looking for the breakdown on this candle because I was starting to get, the action was starting to get long wicks at the top up here, and it was looking like it was getting more lower highs, and it was starting to come down. So on this, I waited for the pullback some, and I waited up till it got about here, and I took a short position with two contracts, and I was giving it and holding through this, and I took one of the contracts off because it didn't break down immediately after this. So, well, it pushed up and came back down. And then when it started pushing back up, I just took one of them off to mitigate some risk. So then it pushed up, came down. And in here, I had set my order down to 62, which is why this order was set in, but it didn't get hit. So once I seen it start popping back up, I went on ahead and looked for the break of this and close. And once it did that, I just took the position off for a loss on the day. It's after 2, and so I decided I wasn't going to try to trade anymore today, and I would just take the small loss, which was 41 bucks for the day. Not bad, considering that I traded 2 contracts. So those were my trades today, and I will be back at it tomorrow. So it is Thursday, August the 13th, and I took one trade today, 2 contracts on Micro E-minis futures. I came into the market a little bit late in this candle right here, so I missed maybe a half an hour, but my setup didn't form down in the beginning of the day anyway, so by the time I got into it, the setup I wanted to take was starting to form. So I sat through this candle, and on this candle, on the dip down, I put in my order, even though it was about 50 cents off. Once it got down here, and by the time my order got in, it was about 50 cents off, but that's cool. I held through all of this, watched this push up. So once it got up here, I set one contract to be sold for a target, but it never reached my target. I was actually looking for it to get to here, to this 82 area, but it never got up there. Well, it didn't get up there when I was in the trade. I actually ended up holding it up through here. Once it pulled back, I said, okay, it's not doing what I wanted. I wasn't looking for it to like lose steam and have this big dump candle. So on the next candle, I ended up taking it off for a small loss, which was about $7. So let me see, $7.50 for 2 contracts that I lost. So that wasn't bad. I break even basically. But then it started pushing up, and it made it actually up to where I would have wanted to get out. But by this time, around in this candle, these 2 candles, I had left to go to the gym. I missed all of this. When I came back, it was already dumping and everything, which up here would have been good to play a double top from yesterday, but I was already gone anyway, and I haven't been trading later in the day. I am paper trading because I'm trying to learn the micro E-mini futures. So I'm not gonna put nothing on the line. Probably do this all the way to the end of the year. I was looking at the SPY and I noticed that it was coming up to its all-time highs on the daily, which is up here, 33, 339, and it's just about up there. So if it breaks out and it hits this, this would be a good place to take a short, for me at least. If you have no knowledge of trading options, whether it's the future C minis or just playing the spot options, then I wouldn't take it until I got some kind of education. This is just the risk that I'm willing to take. But if it gets up here, I'm willing to take a double top on the SPY. You can also play the SPX on the double top because it's coming up on its highs too. But I'll probably end up playing the SPY, or I might just stick to the E-minis since that's what I'm trying to learn and not stray away from it and play it about the same level because this all-time highs is right after too. So I can actually get an entry on the SPY, double top up right here, and then play it again up here and stop out if up over it. But anyways, those are my trades or my trade that I took today, and I'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a good day. Peace out. What is going on? It's Friday, August the 14th. I took 3 trades. The last trade I took, I accidentally closed the trade out when I was trying to add to my trade, so I didn't bother to try to put it back on. But the first trade was in this candle. I waited for the rejection off of here and the pullback to go long, anticipating the break of this gap fill. So it ended up stopping me out because I put my stop up under this candle. It stopped. I got stopped out on this candle, and as it pushed back up again, I decided I was going to take a short for it to push down towards this gap to see if it would close the gap down here, which once it pushed up over this, I ended up stopping out up in here. So I stopped out, then I waited, and I got in again right here on this candle, looking like it was going to hold the gap. Hopefully it was going to hold the gap. That was my plan, and it came down and I added to it, but it ended up being I pushed the wrong buttons, so I ended up taking the order off. So today, after that, I just didn't even bother with it no more. I went and did what I had to do for the day, and that was all of the trading I did for the day. Lost 1750, nothing big. So today was another red day, and I will see you all next week when we do this all again. Later.